Hey there, House here. Well, the time has come for me to talk about this ongoing Aaron Rodgers drama that has been engulfing the entire state of Wisconsin, as well as the NFL, this whole offseason. Rodgers announced before the NFL draft that he was tired of the Green Bay Packers organization and demanded a trade to play elsewhere. From the very start, GM Brian Gutekunst has stated that there is no intention to trade the future Hall of Fame quarterback. Still, that hasn't swayed teams from inquiring about Rodgers and attempting to see what the asking price could be for his services. Now, before I get into what trade packages for Rodgers could look like and what teams could feasibly trade for him, I want to give you a recap of why we are where we are. In the 2020 NFL Draft, during the later stages of the first round, the Green Bay Packers decided it was a good idea to trade up in said draft to then select Rodgers' replacement in Jordan Love. This is 1 year removed from making it to the NFC Championship game and losing to the San Francisco 49ers. Now, most would have thought that in this draft, the Packers would look to select a talented receiver to help Rodgers. Seeing as how that year's issue was on the offensive end and not the defensive end, it would have made sense to grab a receiver. Instead, they grabbed Jordan Love, and in doing so, irked their star quarterback. After that interesting move by the organization, Rodgers didn't make any noise. He showed up to camp on time like everything was fine, and with the help of an MVP season, propelled his team to one of the top offenses in the league and another appearance in the NFC Championship game. They ended up losing that matchup, but most thought that after back-to-back losses in the NFC Championship game, this team was very close to making it back to the Super Bowl for the first time since 2010. Now, we're at the day before the draft, and Rodgers says that he doesn't want to play for the Packers anymore. And you have a bunch of teams looking for a quarterback, and they have some solid draft capital to make a truly legitimate move to trade for him. Outside of the Jordan Love pick, Rodgers has made his frustrations known from the releasing of a wide receiver who had battled his way through camp to earn a roster spot and his less than favorable view of the Packers GM Brian Gutekunst. Going as far as to compare him to Jerry Krause, who was the Chicago Bulls GM during the 1990s dynasty, who created, then destroyed that team. Now, personally, I don't believe that he's really upset with the organization for them releasing a bona fide fifth-string wide receiver, nor to believe that he should be comparing Gutekunst to Jerry Krause. Mainly because since Brian has become the GM, he has added talented players in free agency that makes this team better as opposed to drafting and developing that talent. Another story that was making its way around was the fact that Rodgers was upset about not being the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. As of now, he's making north of $33 million per year and is under contract for 3 more years. Now, everyone knows that once a star quarterback has a contract extension, their team will offer them a contract that makes them the highest paid quarterback at that time. It's just what you do. For Rodgers to be upset about his current salary while still having 3 years under contract doesn't really track for me. Not to mention the Packers signed their star running back in Aaron Jones to a 4-year contract, as well as working on a massive contract extension for their star wide receiver in Davante Adams. With those players looking to be locked up for a few more years, why would you think about leaving a team that's doing their best to keep your best pieces around you? Now, the final note that I want to cover are what teams could actually make a move for Rodgers now that he has continued his stance on not wanting to play for the Packers and his request to be traded. The first team are the Carolina Panthers. They just made a trade to bring in Sam Darnold, but I don't believe that he's going to be the answer for this team that is looking for a true leader. It would take some money moving by the Packers to assist in the transition, but they could trade Rodgers and some cash considerations for Robbie Anderson, who's a legitimate number 2 receiver to line up across Adams, and Shaq Thompson, who is that inside linebacker help that the Packers have needed since Blake Martinez left in free agency. Along with those players, they would also receive a first-round draft pick in the 2022 NFL Draft from the Panthers and the second-round draft pick from the 2022 draft from the New York Jets. Trading for Rodgers makes you an instant playoff team, so the first-round pick would be pretty late. The other team that can make a play for Rodgers are the Denver Broncos. They have some cap space that could absorb a portion of Rodgers' contract, pairing some money being sent with Rodgers and with trading a couple of players with the first-round draft pick would cover the rest. The 2 players to be traded would be Jerry Jeudy and Garrett Bowles. Everyone should know about Jerry Jeudy, who is a future star wide receiver in this league, but Garrett Bowles isn't a name that jumps off the page. Bowles is a left tackle that would transition right into the vacant spot of the Packers' left tackle, David Bakhtiari, who will miss at least half the season recovering from a torn ACL. Then, once healthy, Bowles could transition into a guard position quite nicely. Both players are under contract for a handful of years that would allow your team to develop under a new quarterback and still have a plethora of talent around him. Those moves plus a 2023 or 2024 first-round draft pick, if the Packers had a choice, would be more than enough to make this trade attractive on both sides. Well, those are the teams that I believe that are in need of a great quarterback that could make the moves to acquire him. Thank you for tuning into the House Report. If there's any other teams that you believe could make a play for Rodgers that I didn't mention, please leave their name in the comments section of my video. Personally, I hope this comes to a resolution sooner rather than later in whatever form that they may come in. And one last note for all my betting friends out there. Remember, you'll win some and you'll lose some, but the house always wins.